This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
And welcome back. It's now time for our cooking segment, and this morning we have Dawn Campbellman from Dawn's Couture Cakes and Indian Hills Community College, and she's making a nice little sweet treat just in time for Valentine's Day, which is next Friday if you're keeping track. What are we making today?
All right, this morning we're going to make chocolate pâte de crème, which is a very traditional French dessert, but we're going to simplify this. So for folks at home that like to cook or bake, you could easily make this. Even if you don't like to cook or bake, I think that you could handle it as well.
And it sounds so fancy, so when you say the name of it, they're going to be like, oh, you spent hours in the kitchen, and you can say yes.
Disagree.
Right.
So, all right, so what do we need?
Okay, we're going to start with, we have 5 large egg yolks.
Okay.
And we're going to drop this right into a stainless saucepan.
Okay.
So you want to get all that in there. And then we're going to go ahead and whisk in 5 tablespoons of granulated sugar.
Okay.
Okay. Want to get that mixed in really well.
All right, and I'll just kind of show them what that looks like so they can kind of see.
So we don't want to really overbeat the eggs.
Uh-huh.
And then we're going to slowly add in.
Okay.
We have 3/4 of a cup of half and half.
Okay.
Whisk that in.
Alrighty. And do you want to continue, like, keep stirring
Yep,
while you're
keep
doing
stirring
all
it,
this?
and
okay.
then you'll watch the next step. We have 1½ cups of heavy cream.
Okay.
And then we're going to put aside our whisk,
Okay.
because we don't want to whip any more air pockets or bubbles into those egg yolks. We want to create a nice smooth custard. So now we're going to move to a wooden spoon, and then you want to put this on the stove top. And traditional pâte de crème is custard, and it's baked in a water bath in the oven. But this is such a simple recipe, and we're going to do all of the cooking right on the stove. And then you'll see the next steps, how easy it really is. So be patient when you're cooking this over the stove. You want it at medium, low heat, 7
You
to...
don't want it boiling.
Do not simmer
Okay.
this, because nobody wants curdled eggs, okay?
Yeah, that does
So-
not sound good.
And you will definitely need a thermometer, and you want to cook this to 165 to 170 degrees. If it's over that, start again.
Okay.
So really watch that temperature. As soon as you see some steam, get your thermometer in the pot. And also, if you don't have a thermometer, you can also use the trick where, as you cook it, you can put your fingertip against the side of the spoon. And if you have an imprint on the spoon, that typically is a good sign that the custard is cooked all the way. So basically, we're cooking the eggs on the stove rather than in the oven, in a water bath. It's a lot more dishes, it's a lot more work, it's a lot more time. So I've actually, we're going to go over here. I've got some custard already cooked to that 165, 170 degrees.
Okay.
And we have 10 ounces of bittersweet chocolate chopped. If you are a chocolate connoisseur, you can use 60% bittersweet chocolate of 10 ounces. If you really like that dark chocolate, which I actually used this morning, we have 8 ounces of 70% bittersweet chocolate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got a fine mesh strainer, because we don't want to get any chunks of egg, of the egg yolk, into our chocolate mixture. So we're going to slowly pour
Samantha,
in.
do you want to hold that so it doesn't?
Yeah.
There you go.
We're going to slowly pour in our cooked custard over our chopped chocolate.
Okay.
And then we actually need to let this set for about 3 to 5 minutes, because we want our chocolate to soften.
Okay.
And then, just for TV's sake, we're going to put in a teaspoon of instant espresso powder, or you can also use instant coffee powder mixed with 1 tablespoon of good vanilla, pure vanilla extract.
Okay.
This way you don't want to skimp, because you're really going to taste that, because the vanilla is not cooked or baked, so make sure that you use pure.
All right.
So we're going to go back to our whisk. We just want to slowly whisk in that vanilla and coffee powder. You're really not going to taste the coffee. Like I've said in previous shows, the coffee really just intensifies the flavor of the chocolate.
Okay. So while we continue doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to toss it on over to Kate Alt. So once we finish doing all that, we'll kind of show off the final product and then talk about the other steps that we need to do in order to get there. Sound good?
All right, sounds good.
Okay, and welcome back. If you're just joining us, we're in our temporary kitchen on set at KTVO, and we're joined by Dawn Kampelman of Dawn Couture Cakes, as well as Indian Hills Community College. And in honor of Valentine's Day, I love how you say it, so I'm going to let you pronounce it. We made
chocolate pâte de crème, a traditional French custard.
Okay. And you said that the original recipe is really long and tedious, but you showed us an easier way to make this.
Right. If you've ever made creme brulee, it's exactly the same process as creme brulee. So you'd put your ramekins full of the chocolate custard into a water bath, into the oven, and it can be very variable as to the temperature and when it's done and how your oven cooks. So basically, we just made everything right on the stove. We cooked our eggs on the stove, and then we added our chocolate. And then when that chocolate is smooth and it's a homogeneous mixture, then you're gonna pour it into some ramekins.
Okay.
And these are very inexpensive. You can get them for 50 cents to $1 for a ramekin. So
perfect.
They're nice to have on hand. So I'm making the cherry-infused whipped cream for the top, as you can see. Now, if you're not making this for Valentine's Day, you can just make regular whipped cream.
Okay.
So I have a half a cup of heavy whipping cream, the same kind of cream that we used in our custard.
Okay.
And we're going to add 2 teaspoons of sugar. I would not recommend adding too much sugar because our custard is really just rich and dark and sweet. So we're just going to add a little bit of sugar, and then 2 teaspoons to a tablespoon of maraschino cherry juice, and I'm just going to pour it in here. And I've already got our heavy cream kind of started to whip, and I'll quick finish this. So as you can see, it's really pretty and pink. Okay.
And then after you're done with that, you just end up putting it in your little...
Right. And you don't have to, if you don't have pastry bags or a star tip or anything like that at home, you don't have to go out and buy that kind of thing. You can just use a spoon and dollop it on. It's still just as pretty. But I do have a pastry bag full of the cherry-infused whipped cream with a tip, and I just, piped a swirl on the top and put a cherry on, and it's very festive for Valentine's Day.
And it looks very delicious, and I just realized that we do not have any utensils nearby to try this, Samantha. Like, this is like really sad right now. No,
on break, you'll have to.
We have less than a minute, so we won't have time to try this. But you said we get to keep these and try these after the show,
yes,
and that's exactly what we're going to do.
Yep.
So thank you so much, Dawn. What we'll do is we'll post the recipe and directions on our website at heartlandconnection.com. Just click on the Good Morning Heartland tab. That's on the top of your homepage. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Ella Soroka.
And I'm Samantha Croy.
And this is Dawn. And we hope you have a fabulous weekend. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you right back here Monday morning at 5:30 a.m.